Before we even get going this morning with Wicked Radio, and by the way, welcome to it. I'm Bill. Thanks for being here, as always. Tuesday, October 22nd. Before we get going, does anybody have any questions for Kamala Harris?
You're not, unfortunately. We have some determined questions, and hopefully I'll be able to ask some of the questions that might be in your head. I hope so.
We'll get to that in a second, but it's my favorite story of the day. I absolutely love it. The voice you heard there was Maria Shriver, and she was hosting a town hall called A New Way Forward. I guess the new way forward for the Democrats is totally faking a town hall. So what she said, we'll get to it, but what she said was the quiet part out loud that she was not supposed to say. Some poor lady said, "Can we ask questions?" We says, "No, the questions have been predetermined." We'll get to that. All right, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, too. We got, unfortunately, and I was wondering how long this is going to take, but the Democrats have gone full race card, and they're actually down-talking and browbeating African Americans for not voting for them. This is where we are in this election. Unfortunately, we'll talk about that. We also have an incredible feel-good story, though, to talk about. A lady found a kidney donor in a bar. I don't know why she was in the bar, but we'll figure that out together. But she did. We'll talk about that as well. But I got speaking of feel-good stories, one to kick off the show today. Do you remember us talking about that dirtbag fan, Jack Callis, the Ravens fan, who went looking for straggling Washington fans last Sunday, actually 2 Sundays ago? Well, there's an update on this. Just to remind you of it, though, this is what it sounded like when they went looking for stragglers to beat the crap out of them.
We got stragglers. We got stragglers. We got stragglers. We got a straggler.
Yeah, they found stragglers, all right, and they beat the crap out of these 2 poor kids. Well, as it turns out, a great thing has happened. Jack, as the last update we talked about, was wanted by the Baltimore police because of pressure from NFL fans, really, who weren't going to put up with this. And I will get to tell you, not to disparage Ravens fans at all, because they were the ones that actually weren't going to put up with this thing. So he's turned himself in. Here are the charges on scumbag Jack Callis, who, by the way, got fired from his law firm. He's hated by everybody. He had to delete all his social media accounts. He's up on charges now of first-degree aggravated assault. Pretty serious. 3 counts of second-degree assault for what he did and caught on video. And it happens probably every single Sunday at every single NFL game across the country. And I think we all know that. But not this time. This guy was caught. It's a feel-good story to start off the day. All right, but this is my favorite story to start off the day. What happens? How low are you scraping the bottom of the barrel if you have to fake a town hall, an actual town hall? You know, it's the debate, and you always see when people are running for office where you're supposed to be able to ask questions, and you see them in a more relaxed atmosphere. No, and you already heard this to kick off the show, not when you have one called A New Way Forward with Kamala. And Liz Cheney was there. We'll get to her. And there she was, Maria Shriver, hosting the thing. And I guess she's introing it, and some poor lady in the crowd goes, "Will we be able to ask questions?" No, you will not be able to ask any questions. What do you think this is, democracy?
You're not, unfortunately. We have some determined questions, and hopefully I'll be able to ask some of the questions that might be in your head. I hope so.
Just make sure that all those questions in your head have nothing to do with, honesty and your plans for America and anything like that. Well, here's what they're saying. Here's what the Democrats are saying. We'll ask the questions for you. We know what you should be asking. Don't you worry about that. Don't you worry. And I don't think it's just a thing because they don't think Kamala would be able to handle live fire questions like that. I don't think so anyway. I think they just wanted to get the narrative out of there, control the media, control the discussion like they always do, and there you go. And there's your town hall. Okay. As she's still begging for another debate, by the way. But there she was, and it happened, and there's Kamala, word salad after word salad. It's not even at the point where it's worth playing it for you anymore because it's just so predictable. It's just the same stuff over and over again. It makes no sense, and it's all jumbled, and it's all garbled. Well, but she was there, a guest on stage, Liz Cheney. Remember Liz Cheney, Dick Cheney's daughter? She got smoked out of her political seat, but now she's basically trying to grab onto whatever job in the swamp of D.C. she possibly can, so she turned it full Democrat. She was big part of the January 6th committee. Remember all that? So now she's probably most likely trying to keep herself out of jail for that sham and all the lies they pushed on that thing. So now she is right there up on stage with Kamala. And Well, a new way forward is all about inviting people like Liz Cheney on board. Kamala says she's very, very brave. She's very brave. And she thinks all the Republicans, the real Republicans, they're supporting Liz.
I have seen a lot of Republicans go up to Liz Cheney and thank her. And they may not be doing it publicly. They may not be doing it publicly because I think she has shown, to your point, extraordinary courage, especially in this environment post-January 6th where there's an undercurrent that is violent in terms of the language and the tenor.
There's so much in there. There's so much to unpack in there. First of all, they're not doing it publicly, you see, because they're not really doing it. They're not really doing it publicly, but Kamala thinks there's all kinds of Republicans supporting Liz Cheney in this because they're not. They're not supporting her. They know she's a fraud. They didn't support her in her hometown election. They don't support her now. And how about that now? How about that? You know, they expand this out to include all Americans, but especially among what they call the uneducated conservatives. There's just such a tenor of violence after January 6th. What is that tenor exactly? You know, what do they hate? Because people got a hold of information. Yeah, they make up their own minds now. That's what they don't like, and so they call it violent. That's what they don't like. That's the new way forward, which is the name of her town hall. That's what it's all about. Okay, all right, that's fine. But don't you dare ask any questions. I tell you what I feel. You know, the polls are up. You want to look at Polymarket. Those are the people who actually put money on the line for this upcoming election. Or you want to look at Real Clear Politics, the RCP. Or you want to look at, Election Wizard. That's another big site out there. All of them are telling you that Trump is making massive, massive gains, if you want to believe the polls. I saw something yesterday, apparently, and this might have been Rasmussen, which gets criticized by the Democrats all the time. The early voting in Florida apparently is up, county by county, something like 16 points for Republicans or something ridiculous like that. And it makes, if you're going to vote that way, it makes you feel good. But I will tell you, speaking of what Kamala said, what I hear people saying, and this is just anecdotal, it's not scientific, it's got nothing to do with that. I don't believe the polls. I believe what people tell me. And the number one thing that I hear people talking about is no one. And ask yourself this when you get to work today. Ask friends that are going to vote the way you think they're going to vote. No one I talk to thinks it's going to be a clean election. No one, which is so sad. It just is. No one, especially people who are going to vote for Trump because of the suspicions that are out there. Number one. Number two, there's a different vibe happening now. You can feel it. And again, I get it. It's conversational. It's anecdotal. There's nothing scientific to it. You can't grab this from a poll. You can't quantify it. Vibes matter. Just does. This is a vibe election. It is. Both sides have said that. The Trump people and the Kamala Harris people have said that. This is about the vibes and how you feel going forward past the policy. It just is. And if you want to go by vibes, read the polls or not, but things are different this time. People feel different. And I'm telling you, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. It doesn't matter. Well, it matters. But even if Trump doesn't wind up winning this thing, okay, and it winds up being 4 more years of whatever the hell we just lived through for the past 4 years, it's not going back to what it was. People have got too much information right now. You hope everybody's calm, but there's too much of a movement right now. And a big part of that is what Trump did when he put together, like I call them MAGA Avengers, the Vivek Ramaswamy. Tucker's on board with this. Elon playing a huge part, You've got J.D. Vance, who is the VP candidate right now, and DeSantis, too, coming up through the ranks. There's a lot different right now, but it's not just about the figureheads. It's people. People just becoming more aware. There's less trust in mainstream media than ever these days, which is a great thing. We talked about that yesterday quite a bit. More and more people are finding out information for their own, and they're much less likely to have the wool pulled over their eyes. Speaking of, this is where it's gone crazy. And this is a little, it's a little negative, and I totally get that. And I was wondering how long it was going to take for this to happen. This is a strong statement to make, and I'm going to make it anyway. The Democrats have gone full race card. And you're thinking, they've always played the race card. What the hell are you talking about? No. I mean full race card. Because they're flat out, in every media opportunity they get now, admonishing black Americans for not voting Democrat. Because they're reading these polls, and they think it's going to go very, very badly for the black and Latino vote, led by President Obama in 3 straight appearances right now, 3 straight, getting out on stage and admonishing. Remember the week before last? A lot of the brothers, and now they're using the term brothers and sisters. Now they're using that, not getting out the vote. How insulted would you be if I was a black American? And the last time I checked, I don't think I am, but if I was, how insulted would I be if somebody told me that? You got to wake up and you have to vote the right way. What's the right way? We're all individuals, but they don't want you thinking as an individual. They want it's identity politics. Put everybody in a category. Put everybody in a group. Well, that particular category, they're losing. Why? Because of what we just figured out. Because people got a hold of the information now, and they're not falling for it anymore. But don't let that stop the media from jumping full board on this. How about this CNN appearance from Angela Rye? I think Rye is her last name. Angela Rye. She's a Democrat activist. She's African American. Well, she says it's not just the black folks that they're losing and the brothers and sisters, like she said with President Obama. The moderator asked her, who's really responsible for what they're seeing in the polls? Get a load of how racist this is, and they totally get away with it. A total
pass. What I think is a mistake is to let white folks escape the accountability that they must face for not showing up to save democracy themselves. Like, they want to get mad at presidential candidates, right, when they don't wear a flag lapel pin or they don't see you pledging allegiance to the flag. That's what they want to get upset about. Now, the face of patriotism to them looks like trying to tear down the Capitol in a terrorist attack on January 6, 2021.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Again, a lot to unpack there because they let it just completely. Any real network, if we had like an actual free press, like a real press, none of this crap. I'm telling you, 99% of our problems in this country would be going away if we had a real media, if we had a real press that asked these questions. How do you let anybody on the air, anybody, even on CNN, and let her get away with that? The problem is white Americans, they have the wrong idea of democracy. See, this is what they push on people is and I mean the Democrats by they. It's only the right democracy. Saving the country means just voting for them, the progressive policies. That's all anything else, they'll call you every single name in the book. Everything. They'll call you a racist for not voting their way. And the other thing is they flat out, and it's been building up for a while now, even, 8 months ago on CNN, if you said January 6th was a flat out attack on the Capitol, usually even the moderators would say, well, maybe not an attack, but there were protests there. They were trying to fill. No, now it just goes. They're trying to actually make people believe that with cell phones, people on January 6th attacked the Capitol and tried to tear it down, in her words. This is where we are. We have reached full insanity before this election. And again, here's the latest talking point, and this should tell you how desperate they are. Well, when you bring out Spike Lee, again, like Obama said, to admonish the brothers and the sisters for voting the wrong way, they have reached a full level. Listen to what he says. Again, led by Obama's wording.
It's sad but true. Some of my brothers have been drinking that Kool-Aid. And I just hope that they get their minds straight, get their minds right in time for this election.
Got that? Get your mind straight. Again, that would be I'd be incensed. I'm incensed now as an American. If I was a black American, I'd be livid. Get your mind right. You're not voting the right way. You're not thinking the right way. So they put, and it's all by design. They put Spike Lee on there on MSNBC. Talk to black America. You're not doing it right. Led by Obama. The brothers and the sisters. You're not getting out in the vote. You're not doing the right thing. I'm telling you, if it's not going to work. So what's the plan, really? I'm just befuddled with what they're actually trying to do. I had a feeling this was coming, but I can't believe it's actually like happening, like in real life. So what is the plan? So you see these polling numbers as you're out there on the campaign trail, and you see, now that especially early voting is happening, that the black and Latino vote is really not going your way if you're the Democrats. So the plan then is to get on TV and to Obama hit a stage and to say that they're not thinking right? How racist is that? That you're not, they're saying you're not smart enough to vote and think for yourself? You're just supposed to be the sheep and you're supposed to follow their narrative and vote for them. It's unbelievable. It is, but it isn't. I totally expected them to do this, but that's exactly what they're saying. Well, you got to get your minds right. You're not voting the right way. You got to get your minds right, says Spike Lee. Are you serious? They are serious, though. That's the thing. So, I mean, project now days away to November 5th and afterwards and what happens with this. And if this doesn't go their way, this is why so many people are doubtful that we're even going to get an election result on that day. So many people are because of that. If they're going on TV and saying that, black folks they're getting their minds right, says Spike Lee, and they're not voting the right way, then what are they capable of if they don't get the right result and the right answer? Again, but it doesn't matter. You got to be hopeful because people are waking up, and it's the most beautiful thing on earth. See a lot of scary stuff from the other side because they're panicked and they're desperate. But people waking up, I'm for it every single day. All right, that's a lot. I totally get it. That's a lot of politics. I totally understand. But we have an amazing feel-good story to talk about. So I love when these medical miracle stories happen. You know, when somebody finds, and I've known somebody, you may know somebody in your life too who needs they try to find a bone marrow match for a donor. It happens a lot with kidney transplants, and it's hard what they go through because you have to have the exact type, blood type, the right age. There's a lot of parameters you have to meet. So I love those stories that happen whenever somebody finds a match. Well, I've never heard of one of these stories where a lady found a match in a bar. That's right. So the lady that needed the kidney went to a bar. She claims to just pick up food. I'm not here to judge, but that's okay. She was in upstate New York, and she found a kidney at her local bar, a donor. Kate Marsh was on dialysis for years. She walked into a place called Tavern on the Mall. All right, fine enough. And she was grabbing some takeout food. If she was grabbing something more than that, I'm not here to judge. That's okay. I told you going to a bar was a good thing. The owner, this is the real hero of the story here. The owner asks everybody at the bar what their blood type is. So, you're sitting there after work or whatever, you're having a beer, you're having, a whiskey, whatever it is. And all of a sudden the bartender goes, "Attention, everybody. This lady, Kate, she needs a new kidney. I need everybody's blood type." I don't think there's anybody listening right now or anybody in that particular bar who wouldn't say, I'm O negative, I'm O positive, whatever it is. I'm more than happy to help. And they did. A local teacher turned out to be a match. She was there with her husband. Here's Kate and her donor, Allison, telling the story. This is really an amazing feel-good story.
Is anybody here O positive? I got a friend that needs a kidney, and my husband and I both said we're O positive. Not only the same blood type, we have the same tissue type, and we had common genetic markers too, and we're not related.
There's just so much life to live. She gave me it. She didn't know me.
We have to be there for each other through the highs and the lows.
Yeah, she's incredible. I couldn't have asked for a better donor.
Good thing you went to the bar that day, right? I told you going to the bar was a good thing. That's where you find real America, not this political crap. That right there is what this country, that's what everybody, that's what real people are all about. Not this stuff you hear in the headlines and all that other stuff we try to weed you through. That's a great story, though. I absolutely love that. All right, cool. What's our main takeaway? Well, don't let the media tell you who you are. Don't let them put you in a category ever. But most importantly, don't ever take any crap from anybody. Thanks for finding me. Just search for Wicked Radio wherever you are with Bill Adams. Put your notifications on if you follow me, and if you do, thank you so much. And the podcast, wherever you get them, download it, share it, rate it, all that good stuff. Apple Podcasts and Spotify especially well. So, all right, have a wicked awesome day. I got to go vote. Early voting is on where I am. So we'll see how that goes today. I'll have stories from that tomorrow as well and all kinds of stuff to talk about. All right. Don't take any crap from anybody. Have an awesome day, and don't let anybody put you in a box. I'll talk to you tomorrow.